Welcome back to our fourth video in the Mugs Quilt Sew Along. I hope you had an opportunity to watch the others and are working on the last blocks of your quilt. And this is the Mugs Quilt by Stitch Supply. I'm Ann Sandler, and Christina of Center Street Quilts also co-wrote this pattern with myself. So last time we learned the foundation paper piecing for the latte mug, and this time we're going to move on to the espresso mug. This one is a little different in that we are joining a couple pieces, where the last one was we were working all in one section to make the mug. So this one, go ahead and start by using your paper scissors and cutting out the two bottom pieces. I went ahead and made the handle already, but I'm going to show you to make the cup portion of it. We'll walk through the basics of paper piecing. Reminder, when you print off your pattern, go ahead and measure this because you do not want to scale it. So print it at 100%, measure that, and make sure that line really is an inch so that your final piece will come out the size we need it for a quilt. This one here, I went ahead and made, I added just a general border around it so that I could make it to a little mug rug or something. It won't be going in the quilt. And this is the Darlings fabric collection from Ruby Star Society. Little metallic, I think it's called Mystery Ink. But that's what we're gonna work on today. I picked a different fabric though. This is Space Junk by Rashida from her Stellar collection with Ruby Star Society. Has fun little stars and moons and some metallics on it. Okay, so let's grab the cup piece, and we're gonna have our fabrics. When you start off, this part is tricky sometimes for people, but this is considered the right side of our fabric, or the paper, right side of our paper, wrong side of our paper. So we want wrong side of fabric and wrong side of paper to go together. So go ahead and center that on there. I like to just hold it up to the light, especially if you're like I fussy cut this one. Go ahead and center, look at a window, see where you want that, and then I like to use the flathead pins because they're really nice when you put the ruler down on them. Okay. I have next to your iron again, no steam. You want that to be a dry iron. And don't forget to set your sewing machine to a 1.5 stitch length. So when we look at our piece here, A1 is where I added the main fabric to. And so we want to sew on, in order, A1 to A2. So I'm gonna go ahead, and the first thing we do is fold back. We're gonna take add a quarter ruler, we're gonna take the narrow side of that and fold back. If you don't have this ruler, you can use a business card, credit card, any piece of cardstock like that really helps. And then you take the other side of the ruler that has the lip on it and catch it on that edge of the paper. If you don't have the add a quarter ruler, you can use a regular ruler and just measure out a 1/4 inch. So now we've created our seam allowance line. I have some little scraps left over from when I used the handles, made the handles, so these will work perfect. I'm placing these fabrics right sides together, just like that. And I'm gonna go ahead and sew now, and then I'll show you where the seams can go. I backstitched at both the beginning and the end, and I started way over here off of my piece of paper. Backstitching, sewing through, and then backstitching again, and again sewing off. And then, oops, we always press. Oops, try that again. And then we're gonna do the same for the other side, the other corner of our little cup here. Fold it back on the line. Create that seam allowance. And then we're gonna add on our new piece of fabric. So fabric is placed right sides together, and then we're gonna sew on that line. So again, when you're adding on your new piece of fabric, make sure to use a generous piece so you have plenty of fabric. when you're starting off, it is a lot easier than unpicking a 1.5 inch stitch length. All right, and then we just have one more piece to add on. So I'm going to fold over the paper again, trim it to the 1/4 inch seam allowance. And I have a piece of fabric here that well covers that area. I'm going to place those right sides together and then sew again. And press. I'm going to go ahead and remove that pin and then trim around all 4 edges to clean this up nice. So I'm trimming right on that outside line. Okay. Now, the difference a little bit of this one versus the last one is we need to join these 2 pieces. And it's kind of hard with the angles of where to set the fabric. So, what I like to do is take a pin and I laid them out where they need to be and fold them together. Take a pin and put it right in the corner inside the seam allowance, so the inside line, and then go ahead and pop that same pin through. It takes a couple tries, pop it through the other one, and then sandwich those together. You can swing it around and make your sides line up. That way you have your 2 corner points meeting each other. And just go ahead and pin that down anywhere, and then do the same thing with the other corner. Find the top point and then weave it through to find, whoops, my fabric wiggled, find the bottom. And then we're just going to go ahead and sew on that seam line right there. And I'm going to take that pin out right away because we don't sew over pins. And now when I unfold it, our bottom line and our top line match up perfectly. So you can go ahead and there is paper piecing instructions if you want to paper piece this top. Otherwise you can cut out a block that is 6.5 by 5.5 and sew it on. Otherwise you're ready to go. This is the main paper piecing. The bottom of the cup does look a little bit different because we haven't added the 1/4 inch seam down there that will round off the bottom. There you go. I hope you guys learned a little bit about paper piecing. Of course, if you have any questions, feel free to contact me and I will help you out. I look forward to seeing all of your quilts.